Richard's car uses 1 litre of petrol every 8 minutes. Now, this sentence alone, there is quite a bit of information given to us here. It mentions here that 1 litre of petrol is used every 8 miles. Now, whenever you've got two measures mentioned in the same kind of line, saying that this many liters of petrol is going to cover 8 miles, we can write it in a particular way. And this is the skill of multiplicative reasoning, which focuses on proportionality. Okay, so multiplicative reasoning is essentially where you lay out this problem by writing down 1 litre is equal to 8 miles. So this is our starting point. Okay, and this skill is called multiplicative reasoning, as we are able to multiply both sides by the same thing and divide as well. Okay, multiplication and division. It goes on to then say that petrol costs £1.30 per litre. So again, can you see here, we've got, again, two units. We've got pounds and we've got litres. Again, that is two measures. As soon as you have two measures, multiplicative reasoning is used for two measures. When you have two measures. So we have one measure here, two measure here. We've got pounds here and litres here. So two measures. So again, I'm going to write this using multiplicative reasoning. I'm going to write down £1.30 is equal to 1 litre. So what I've done is I've set up my problem. I will come back to this in a moment to kind of tackle and do more to it. But all I've done is I've addressed those first two lines. I can't do any maths yet because I've got litres, miles, and I've got pounds and 1 litre here. Then it goes on to say Richard drives 240 miles. I'm going to use this information and put this into the appropriate place. So I'll look at my two starting points. I've got multiplicative reasoning started here, but this one doesn't have miles, whereas my first one that we did, you can see we've got miles there. So I'm going to write that 240 miles in the appropriate place. There, 240 miles. So what I want to now do is figure out, how do I go from the 8 to the 240 miles? Well, 8 to 24 is times by 3. So to go there, it's going to be times by 30. I do the same on the other side. And so now I know, make sure you write down your units. Don't just write down the numbers. Now I know I need 30 litres of petrol to drive 240 miles. From here, I can see that this 30 litre I can then use here on the second multiplicative reasoning, and I'll write down 30 litre in the appropriate place. And I can work out the cost of the 30 litres by using this one here, because this one's got litres and pounds. So how do I go from there? Well, it's times by 30. I do the same on this side. Times by 30. Okay. And so then that gets me my answer. So if I do £1.30 times 3, that's £3.90. So that's £39. Then it goes from that third line. That third line enabled us to do this bit here. Then it goes on to say, work out the total cost of the petrol of the car used, or car uses. And we've already done that. It was £39, so we'll just go and write that down in our answer. So as you can see here, I do not go and read everything and then just focus on the question, because if I did that, I'll be a bit lost. I always just go line by line and do the maths as I go along. So the skill used here is two skills. First of all, line by line maths, which we tend to use pretty much everywhere, and multiplicative reasoning. When did we use multiplicative reasoning? Where there are two measures mentioned, i.e. 1 litre of petrol for every 8 miles, or £1.30 per litre. So £1.30 is one measure and litre is the second measure. Okay. So what I'd like you to do is now use those skills that I've just gone through, and I'd like you to have a go at question number 1, mirror question, just underneath it. In the same particular way, apply multiplicative reasoning. Okay, so let's go through this question here, question 1, mirror. Hopefully you've all had a good go at it. So again, line by line maths we're going to approach, and we might use a diagram to help you. And drawing diagrams is again another skill in maths which helps you to lay out the problem in a particular way. So let's go and have a look at this question here. So it starts by saying we've got Harry, who travels from Appleton to Brockley at an average speed of 50 miles per hour. And then he travels from this place, Brockley, to Cantam at an average speed of 70. That first sentence, so Appleton to Brockley, I'll just draw a little diagram, kind of like a line diagram, and write down here Appleton, or A for Appleton and B for Brockley. And the speed that they're going at from that point to that point is 50 miles per hour. Okay, which is essentially 50 miles is equal to 1 hour. I'll write it in that way. And then he travels from Brockley to Cantam at an average speed of 70 miles per hour. So 70 miles is equal to 1 hour. Write it in that way. So that's all from that first two sentences. I took out each of those compound measures, i.e. the two measures, and split them up into this format, multiplicative reasoning. Ready to start doing any inputting some information and doing the question. Next sentence goes on to say, Harry takes a total time of 5 hours to travel from Appleton to Cantam. So let's see, Appleton to Cantam. So this is actually 5 hours, which is the whole journey from there to there. This whole journey is 5 hours. So at the moment, I've got that whole journey, which is 5 hours. And it tells us here the distance from Brockley to Cantam is 210 miles. So I've put in the information from the third line, 5 hours there. Still not sure what to do yet, but let's go and see what that fourth line says. The distance from Brockley to Cantam is 210 miles. So I'm going to put that down in the appropriate place. 210 miles is here. Now, can you see here, I've got 70 miles in 1 hour. So I'm going to write down 210 miles here and use multiplicative reasoning here to figure out how I get to 210 miles. Okay, 210 miles from Brockley to Cantam. So I wrote it between B and C. I wrote it underneath there, 210 miles, underneath the 70 miles, so I can figure out how long it actually took to travel 210 miles. 20 to 210 is times by 3, so this takes 3 hours. Now, as I know this is 3 hours, I know the total thing is 5 hours, so I actually now know what this part of the journey took from Appleton to Brockley. It must be 2 hours, because that took 3 hours. Total is 5, so this must be 2 hours. I'll write down 2 hours in the appropriate section and then use multiplicative reasoning to figure out what distance that is. So times by 2 here, times by 2, so I get 100 miles. So my diagram is starting to take shape now. Information being kind of written in, or I'm working things out as I'm going along using multiplicative reasoning. Then it goes on to say, calculate Harry's average speed for the total distance. So his total speed for average speed for the total distance. Well, the total distance is all of that, all the way from A to C. We can figure out what that is by just focusing on the distances here. So we've got 100 miles there and 210 miles. So the total distance here is, I'll write it down here under the total bit, is 310 miles. And the total time is 5 hours. So I can take these two measures, the total distance and total time, and I can actually set that up using another multiplicative reasoning. So I'll write down 310 miles is equal to 5 hours. Now, to find the average speed, we need to get it to 1 hour. Speed is always how much something travels in 1 hour. That's what this MPH means, miles in 1 hour. So I need to get this 5 hours down to 1 hour. So I need to divide by 5 to get that to 1 hour. And I'd need to do the same on this side as well. I'd need to divide that by 5. So 310 divided by 5, if it's non-calculator, go and do your bus stop division. 5 into 3 is 0, 5 into 31, 6 times, carry the 1, 5 into 10 twice. So it goes into it 62 times. So 62 miles is covered in 1 hour. So the speed is 62 miles per hour. Okay, so that's how we would tackle that question. So again, using multiplicative reasoning there.